welcome back to Stitch and Sprinkles. So today I'm going to show you how I used all of these different needle felted ice creams and cherries that we've been making over the last few weeks and turn this into a summer bunting. Also in this I'm going to show you how I made this other needle felted cone with a bubble gum on top. I hope you enjoy this. So to go on my bunting, I want to make another ice cream. All I've done is I've felted a cone and then I've just put some core wool on the top to get a shape. With this, I needle felted a small pink ball. I want it to look like a gumball that sits in the top of the ice cream, and my ice cream is going to be like this mint colour. So I'm going to start by adding some of my green wool over the core wool, and then I want to build this up slightly, because more on one side than the other, because I want this to sit into the ice cream. And there you go, there is our ice cream with a gumball at the top. As you can see, that's well attached. Okay, so now I'm going to make the bunting. I've got my cherries, I've got 2 sets of those. I've got my 5 different ice creams, ice lollies, and I've needle felted 6 different colour balls that are all to do with the colour scheme that I've used for my ice creams and ice lollies. And then I've got this cord, which is a really light pink and white twisted design, which I'm going to use to thread on all of my bits and pieces to make the summer bunting. I've got a large eyelet needle too, which I'm going to thread the twine onto. I'm not going to cut this off yet because I'm not exactly sure how long I want this to be. So I'm just going to pop these off to one side, and then I am going to start at the end. So I'm going to thread my needle just through the cherry. But you want to get enough of the felt so that it grips well, and then pull twine through. There we go. And now that is on there, and then I'm just going to pull that along. So I'm going to use my owl and I'm going to push through the middle of my ball to try and make a hole. To make it a bit easier to pass the needle with the twine through, you sort of want to poke that through, twiddle it, push it back through the other side and do the same. And then your needle goes through a little bit easier. Pull that along, So I'm going to use my owl to go through all of my designs. Now I'm going to poke that through the middle. There. Give it a twiddle. Back through the other side. Give it another twiddle and then put the needle through and pull it through and then thread it on. Don't worry about how far you pull these through at the moment or the spacing in between each of them, because we will place that once we've got them all threaded on. With your Mr. Whippy, you need to be a little bit careful because obviously you've got the wire that runs through the flake part. And then once you get to the end, we're just going to thread the cherry on the other end. And then I'm going to take my needle off and then I'm just going to loop this at this end and tie that off. I just want to try and lose the knot underneath that loop and then trim that off. Oops. And trim off that other little bit. And now all I'm going to do is just move all the bits along and work out on the placement of my bunting. So just move them all along a bit if you need to give yourself some room. And then it's up to you how you do it. You can either measure in between or just eyeball it, which is normally the way I tend to go. And then when you're happy with the placement of it all you're going to do is turn over your other cherry and do what you did before. Cut enough off to give yourself enough cord to play with. And then I'm going to tie this off just as we did this one before. Trying to hide the knot behind the cherry again. And trim off any excess. And there we go, that's how easy it is to make our summer bunting using the different needle felted ice creams and cherries and all the different bits that we've been making over the last few weeks. That's how easy it is to turn this into a lovely summer bunting. Obviously you can make anything you want from all of these. This was just the direction I was going in. Let me know in the comments below if you come up with another idea to use these for and what you make. I hope you enjoyed this. If you did, I'd really appreciate a thumbs up and give this a like. And if you want to see more like this, please hit subscribe.